Hey, Trev, it's Trevor Gross from CUTigers.com. You said after the game on Saturday that you felt like your decision making was pretty good in the Syracuse game, just a little bit inaccurate on a few throws. What did you think after breaking down your film?
Yeah, pretty much what I thought. Maybe a few decisions weren't great, but I think for the most part, I was focused and you know mentally, I feel like I was in the game, making the right reads, good decisions, and just not one of my more accurate games. And that's going to happen as a quarterback. You throw the ball however many times we do a game, 20 to 40, somewhere in there. I mean, it's going to happen every now and then. So just trying to limit those. And then just grinding this week to work on those throws I missed, just to get it out of my head, and then just get better. But yeah, I mean that just wasn't as accurate as I wanted to be. But I think mentally I was I played pretty well.
Coach Sweeney just let us know that Skalski will have the arthroscopic surgery and miss the next few games. Just how much of a leader is he on the defensive side, and how much will he be missed both at practice and obviously during games?
I mean, one of our best players. He definitely, it's huge having him. He's a difference maker for sure. But I do know we have a lot of depth. Jake's been playing. Jake's been getting reps the last 2 years, so he's ready. But I mean, yeah, you really can't measure what he brings to the table just as far as leadership, football IQ, athleticism, just all those things. I mean, he's a great player and a great leader on this team. I know he'll still be around, so he'll still be able to lead and help on defense a lot with those guys. So we're just gonna, guys have to step up and be ready to play. I mean, we know this is a year, not necessarily because of injuries, but just with the virus and everything. We've been just preparing for something along these lines, so something to happen like this, and I mean, we'll be ready and we're gonna keep moving forward. But obviously, we're going to want to get him back as soon as we can, because I mean, you won't find a better linebacker than Jamie. So definitely hate it for him, hate it for the team, but we'll figure it out.
Hey, Trevor, it's David Hood. I don't know if you've heard or not. Wisconsin has a real issue with COVID in their quarterback situation and may have 2 or 3 guys out this weekend. How do you guys stay safe? How do you stay separate from DJ and stay from Tyson and try to mitigate, staying as safe as you can and maybe mitigate the virus?
Well, obviously I don't know. I actually just heard about that situation, so I don't know much about it. I don't know how they got it, but I think we do a good job here staying, keeping this, staying our social distance, 6 feet, in our meeting rooms, wearing masks, all those things, to where we're not close contacts, we're not around each other, and not so we couldn't transmit the virus. And we're getting tested 3 times a week, so that helps. But I know for home games, the seniors get their own room, so I'm in my own room, hotel room, and so that helps. I'm not with on away games, I'm with DJ, so that's a little bit different. So in home games, we've had more home games this year so far. So and then I think just being responsible as much as you can, trying to stay away from big groups outside of your bubble and in the facility, because I mean, no one really gets it from what I've seen from being at the facility. It's from on the weekends or going somewhere in a big group or being around people that aren't tested like we are. So just trying to stay safe. You can't control it, obviously. There's some situations where guys get it that you don't know how they get it, but just trying to be as safe as possible. But yeah, we've thought about it, and that's what I said. We're preparing for any situation. We know that at some point in the year, it's more likely than not that's going to happen to somebody on our team. I mean, just with the way this virus is and how fast it spreads, I mean, you just never know. So we're just preparing, and every week, that's why everybody's got to be ready to play.
Trevor, this is Matt with the state. What's it like trying to, I guess Tony was talking yesterday some about with the RPOs, you look after the play and maybe the read was to throw it, but if you handed it off, it could have been a big gain, and trying to, I guess, look and see maybe when the defender's playing in the middle and stuff. Just what's it like as a quarterback trying to read that? And is that something defenses are doing more of to try to challenge you guys and switch things up?
I think it's just, I mean, no matter what it is, you just have to be consistent. Obviously, in hindsight, that's how football is. In hindsight's 2020. A lot of people say that. It's easy to say after the fact. If you would have done this, it would have been big gain, wide open, whatever you want to say. But you have to be consistent. You have to have rules. And I think our offense has been pretty efficient the way we do things. And I trust all the coaches, Coach Streeter, Coach Elliott, everybody on the offensive side of the ball. And we're on the same page. So just continuing to work that, but also understanding, for me, more understanding, as I gain more knowledge on the run game and the ideal looks to run the ball and certain schemes, what we want, I can help manage that better. So that's just things I'm continuing to learn, and we're staying on the same page. I'm talking to the coaches and saying, is this a look? What do you want me to do here? Just all those things. It's important to communicate every week, and I think we've done a good job of that. So just continuing to learn more and to manage the game better is something that I'm always trying to do.
Hey, Trevor, it's Josh from the Posting Courier. You've obviously spent a lot of time on the field with Travis over the past 3 seasons. What's your relationship like with him off the field, and did the field and off the field relationships kind of work synergistically with you two?
Yes and no. I mean, I wouldn't say. Me and Travis are friends, and we're somewhat close, but I wouldn't say we hang out a ton off the field. I think we're both kind of similar personalities as far as just kind of stay to ourselves a little bit, but just we definitely gotten closer. My first year would never really see him other than here. Then every year, we've hung out more and more, built a closer relationship with him. But I mean, it's just different for everybody on the team. You find, you get your friends that you get really close with, and then on our team, it's cool. I mean, everybody's close, and I'm friends with everybody, but there's just only so many people you can hang out with, on your, I guess, 2 days off a week, or not even that, 1 day off a week. So it's just it's hard to find time outside of here to hang out. But I mean, we're with each other, 5, 6, 7 hours a day here at the facility. So just getting close with all those guys has been fun, and we got a really close-knit team.
You guys are both obviously mentioned in that Heisman conversation a lot. Does that kind of create like an unspoken bond between the two of you?
Not that necessarily. I think me and Travis just understand, just in the position that we're in, and our success up to this point, and what we've shown that we're capable of. There's a lot of responsibility with that, and we need to play well if we're going to get to where we want to be at the end of the season. And I think we both understand that, and that's the biggest thing, is we want to do whatever we can to help our team win, to play the best we can, because we know if we don't, then our potential is going to be limited. So just knowing that every week, you got to play well. Best players have to play well. So that's something that we focus on, and that we just try to improve every week.
Hey, Travis, Trevor again. I remember after the Ohio State game last year, Coach Hafley said he had no idea that you run the way that you did against them that night. Was there anything that you remember about them, just the way that their defense played you, that enabled you to break those long runs? And what else do you remember about just scheme-wise, the way they played you defensively?
Yeah, I think it was a lot of that was just kind of in-game adjustments. More so, they did a really good job. They were really stout up front. Obviously, they had 2 really good ends. One of them, Chase Young, and then on the interior, those guys didn't get a lot of attention just because how good Chase Young and the other players were. But on the inside, those 2 guys were really good too. Just run stuffers, quick, good pass rush, all those things. And then they had the 2 backers that they pretty much kept in the box all the time, because they ran a 1-high defense. So they basically always had 6 guys in the box, and unless you have a tight end in there too, it's hard. You only got 5 guys that can block. You're trying to block 6. So, and even with the tight end, it's still hard. So they did a really good job stopping the run. So then the quarterback run, some of those situations, it's a way to get an extra blocker. You get the running back involved. All those things. Still have my reads, and give me some more freedom to do things. But that was just more of an in-game adjustment. I know you're probably asking because BC head coach was the defense coordinator at Ohio State. Right. So you see a lot of similarities. The guys are just really disciplined, really well coached. Looking at it, it reminds me a lot of Ohio State. And that's always a challenge when you're playing a team where they don't necessarily do a ton of different things, like our defense, but they do a few things. They do them really well. They're always in the right position. They're not blowing coverages. They're not, misfitting reads. The backers, they know what they're doing. So that that's a challenge of its own. So they're really good.
Hey, Trevor, this is Pete at AP. I'm guessing that before you came here, if somebody said, your first 36 games, you're going to be 35-1, you'd chuckle and say, well, that would sound great. Now that you are, is there some kind of trick to maintaining the mental side of a run like this? Because I would imagine it can get pretty wearing after a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I think it starts really, I've said this a lot, but with Coach Sweeney, I mean, he's had a lot of success, but he's also had years where they weren't very good here. So he's been on both sides of it, and he's learned that just you have to take it 1 week at a time, and we call it the windshield mentality. You got to always look at what's ahead, not what's behind you. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned is you really have to have amnesia. You have to, after 1 week's gone, you just got to forget about it, move on to the next one, because you see some teams that as the season goes on, they just kind of grow weary of doing the little things, of preparing every week, no matter who you're playing, and then end up getting beat by a team who shouldn't beat you, or you're playing a big game and you're just tired from the whole season. You've been preparing every week, and really just I think here we've fostered a culture of just like commitment to the details every week and not growing weary, and it's really paid off. I know for me, I've learned more and more how important preparation is, and I prepare the same every week, no matter who we play, whether it's unranked team, top 10 team, top 5 team, doesn't matter. So for me, I've learned that that's really that's the best way to ensure success. You still can't, you're going to have your off days, off nights. But that's the best way to ensure success is if you prepare the same way every week. So that's what we do.
It seems like you came here with a pretty good perspective on how to block out the noise from the outside. Are there still times when maybe it can get to you from friends and family who want to talk about, how great you are all the time or how great this team is all the time?
I mean, it's not really, it hasn't been too big of an issue with people close to me, honestly. I've tried to surround myself with people who don't, I guess, blow smoke at me. They don't just tell me what I want to hear. That's just not something I like in friends and family. So my family and friends have done a really good job of just being family and friends. They kind of keep everything else separate. Obviously, we talk about football naturally, but it's not just them always, telling me how good they think I am. That's just not something that I enjoy always being around. So like you said, I've experienced it since I was in high school. So I've learned more and more. Obviously, I'm not perfect at it. Still, probably, listen to what people say and take it into consideration more than I should. But I've learned that there's not many people that really know the dynamics of every situation, and most people don't really know that much about what they're talking about. So I've just learned to block it out and really have a select group of people that I care about their opinions. So, but yeah.
Hey, Trevor.
Any other questions for Trevor?
Clemson
Hey, yeah.
F5.
Hey, Trevor, it's Josh again. I was just wondering, since this will be your third straight noon game this weekend, what your ideal pregame breakfast is.
Breakfast. Usually eat some bacon, some oatmeal, eat one of those like Greek yogurt, chobani, like protein things, and some pancakes. It's probably usually what I have. Maybe some eggs too, but it just depends. Some mornings I'm not that hungry because for noon games, I guess some people might not know this, we're waking up at 6:45, 7, and get down there and eating at like 7:45 or 8. So it's and you're already dressed in your suit, ready to go. So it's a quick morning. Sometimes I'm not super hungry, but just trying to eat whatever I can, get as much food down as I can.
Hey, Trevor, it's Mark from WIFF. Dabo said this morning that pretty much the entire team has voted already. I'm just curious if that was voting early was something that you guys had discussed, and considering going back to the beginning of the season when that was one of the things that you guys had mentioned as something you wanted to do this season, was that a priority for you all?
Yeah. I think a lot of people have. I know I actually just got my absentee ballot in the mail the other day, so I need to send mine in. But I'm pretty sure most of the guys have, and then obviously gonna have that day off next week to go vote. But yeah, I think a lot of guys have already. But we've talked about it. That was, not as much anymore, but that was definitely a conversation a month or two ago that we had, that making sure everybody's in a position where they can vote. And I think a lot of guys got registered and all that stuff. So it's been good.
Switching
Time
streams
for
a
one
little
more
bit.
question.
There's been a lot of discussion from ESPN to former NFL players about what you should or shouldn't do when you get to the end of the season. Have you thought at all about, is there anything that might make you reconsider? You've been very upfront about this being your final season here. I'm just curious if there's anything that would make you reconsider coming back to Clemson for another year.
Man, yeah, it's tough. I don't know. I mean, we'll just have to see how things unfold. I think there's a lot of factors in that, but honestly, just really playing this year, putting everything I have into it, not really focusing on next year, whether, I leave or stay, whatever. Obviously, I have the option to do either one. Kind of my mindset's been that I'm going to move on, but who knows? There's a lot of things that could happen. So just really focusing on this year, not trying to look ahead, not trying to worry about that. Obviously, I can't control it, and really just trusting that God has a plan for me no matter where that is, no matter where I go, whether that's across the country, whether that's close to home, where I stay another year, no matter what it is, we'll work it out. So I'm not sure. That's a tough one, but we'll see how it all unfolds.
Right. Thank you, Trevor.